Hey there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to the Heffy Doodle channel. Today I'm going to be playing with this Go Wild die set and making a fun jungle scene. So here you can see the die set. It's going to cut out an A2 sized leafy frame. You're going to have this piece left over from the center, which you can use to die cut out your sentiment that says Go Wild that also comes with this. And I am cutting out two, and I am going to layer them one on top of the other from different shades of green, giving it kind of a really, like more depth to my jungle scene. And I wanted a background to go behind that. So I am bringing out the Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide ink, which this is the first time I'm using it. And I am so completely in love with this color. I love teal. So this teal, like really dark teal color, makes me so happy. So I'm just leaving the center lighter than the rest of the card. And then I love splatter. So of course I'm going to bring in my distress sprayer and spritz this with just water. I'm going to let that set for just a minute. I'll grab a paper towel and then I can pick up any excess water that may not have dried. And this is very simple, very quick and easy, and I love how it turned out. So that's going to go behind my leaves. I also wanted to give a little bit of a darker edge to this frame. It's going to be A2 sized when it's all done. As it is cut out, it's A2. So I feel like having the ink on the edge, that darker edge, is going to help draw your eye in to the center, similar as a frame on a card would do. So normally I would have an A2 size card base and then a smaller sized frame on top. So that layer of ink just helps do that same thing and draw your eye in. Now, this is the 2x2 stamp and coordinating die set. I love giraffes so much, so I was very excited about this set. They're really super cute. I'm going to do one giraffe, one rhino, and then this tropical bird. And I thought I'd show you some of the Copic coloring. I love Copic coloring. I would not say that I am by any means qualified to give a lesson, except that I think anybody should be able to Copic color. You can, get markers that go well together, find a lot of suggestions of markers that go well together, and just kind of add in that dark, medium, and light color to create a nicely blended image where you have those lighter areas and the darker areas. That is the magic of Copic coloring as far as I'm concerned. And I just love the look. I think it's quick and easy and like very satisfying to do. So I thought I'd add like a few little dots in and around this little rhino and it just kind of helps bring more of a shadow there. And then I use the T0 marker for his horns. I think he's just darling. He's so cute. And then on to my giraffe. I am using Y17 for the darkest areas, just throwing in where I feel a shadow would be, or there's really no rhyme or reason. I just start going. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, I need a little more here. Like, I just have fun with it. It's just paper. If you totally mess up and you really hate it, you can always stamp another one, right? Yeah. So there's my giraffe. I'm finishing it off with a Y31, and then we'll do some brown for the spots and the hooves and his mane. I'm doing E57 for my darkest color, and you can see I'm just adding like a little bit of a dark area to each of the spots, and then I'll blend that out with my lighter color, which is E23, and I just think he's really super cute. I love him. So that is it for the giraffe, and then once his spots are done, I'll move on to the bird. So I have a lot of green going on in this card, and I wanted to tie that in with the bird. So for the bird, I'm going to use T8 and T6. I think I bring in T5 also, yes, to make the body of the bird black. And then I have two shades of green that I'm going to use to just bring out more of the green in my card and just be a nice contrast with that black of the bird's feathers. So my YG13 is very sadly out of ink. Does that ever happen to you? Like all of a sudden you're like, oh my word, this marker has no ink in it. Yeah, and then sometimes it makes the tip get all funny and then you have to replace the tip too. I think it's just a good idea to have the refills at the same time you have your marker so you don't run into these problems. Yeah, do as I say, right? So now I'm just adding some white gel pen highlights to all the things, which is my favorite. It really just helps bring them to life. So I like to kind of spend my time adding little dots and lines with my white gel pen. And I like a size 10 or 8 the best for my white gel pens, but whatever you like. If you like the really tiny fine lines, a size 5 is really nice also. So there are my cute little jungle animals, and there are coordinating dies to die cut these out. So I'm going to tape my dies in place using my Heffy tape, and I'm going to use my cutest die cutting machine ever, which is the Heffy Doodle mini die cut machine. I don't know if you've seen it, but it is fabulous. It fits right on my desk, even when I have the hugest mess. And I can just grab it and bring it over, or I just turn and use it. It doesn't have to go in a separate area because it's so big. And a lot of times I'm die cutting out little things like this, so it's perfect. Now I have this Leafy Laurel die set. It makes a nice little wreath, and I have made a cute like country wreath with this, but I wanted to use these flowers and this leafy branch to create some tropical flowers. So it's a really versatile die set. So now it's time to put everything together. So I decided I wanted my leafy frame to be popped up on my card just to give it some dimension. And so I'm going to add that foam tape there to the back. Now this is the narrow foam tape from Heffy Doodle, so it fits nicely on my little frame, and that will pop it up off of my card. Then I'm going to put the darker frame on top of this one. So I'll just glue those two together, and it will only have one layer of the foam tape. So that works out really good. So you just want to make sure when you're gluing these together that you're rotating them so you have different leaves in each corner. That way you can kind of see the leaves behind, and they're just going to poke out a little bit. I like that. All right, now I'm adding this to my background. I didn't quite get it on there straight. That's okay. I can just trim some of that background away, right? And the blue, this kind of teal color, I think works really well with the greens because that ink itself has a little bit of a green in it. So tucking my little giraffe there inside the leaves, and that way he can be up a little bit higher than the rhino will be, just giving him more of a sense of being taller than the rhino. And then I'm going to add my letters that say Go Wild. Now there is a shadow die for this. You can cut a shadow and mount these letters on the shadow, or you can even die cut the letters and the shadow die at the same time and create sort of a frame. So that's really cool. I think this is a fun die set to have. All right, so for my wild, because it's such a thin die, I decided that it's just going to stick to the higher part and the lower part of the card and kind of, you know, have a it's not popped up on the inside because it's such a thin die, and I decided it worked fine. Okay, let's add on those beautiful flowers. So I die cut them from pink and orange and yellow and that same bright green. And now I'm just trying to arrange things how I think I'll like them in the corners of the card. I'll do 3 corners because I've got the rhino in one. And this is a really good time to use liquid glue because you're gluing it down to a surface that's uneven because of the die cut parts behind it. So that's what I'm doing here. And also liquid glue is allowing me to scoot them around and rearrange them if I need to. Now for the centers of these flowers, I'm going to use this teeny tiny little, it's not a circle, it does have a decorative edge, so it looks really cute in the center of these orange flowers. And then for the larger ones, I'm using the circle from this die, and they're pretty large circles. They're kind of meant for the branch, to add like berries to the branch that's in that Leafy Laurel die set, but it works here too. So I got all the flowers added. I had just a couple extra, and I do pull one of them in here in a second and use on another spot. You'll see. So for my sentiment, I really wanted it to stand out a little bit more on my card. So I just brought in some glaze that I had on hand and coated each letter with that glaze. And that's going to make it raised up and shiny and just help it to kind of pop more off the card. So I love that look. And I even added it to the yellow centers of all the flowers once I was done because I thought that would look really cool on the flowers as well. So here here with my extra flower, I decided it would be really cute to put one on the head by the ear of the little rhino, and I think that was a really fun little touch to add. So there he is with his cute little flower. I have trouble sometimes when I get the thing I want to stick down is upside down, turning it over. That's tricky. I don't know why. So there is my cute Go Wild card. Here you can see the glaze all dry and how shiny it is. It's so cool. So I think these stamps are so darling. I love the little critters. There's a bunch of other little critters in this newest release, so be sure to check those out at the Heffy Doodle shop. And you can find more inspiration from Heffy Doodle right here on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook as well. I'll see you guys very soon on the next video. Happy stamping! Bye!